Guys, I just had a conversation with my son, Jack, today. He's 11 and he's sort of getting to that point where he's a bit more intrigued about what some of the stuff that I got up to when I was younger, or some of the misadventures or the bad things that I got up to when I was younger. And he this story reminded me of something that I did, which he mentioned to me today. He said, "Dad, you did this, didn't you? You crashed a car, didn't you, Dad?" And I said, "Yes. Here's what happened." But first, this is the story that actually reminded me of it. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Guys, great to have you with us. This is a little bit embarrassing what I'm about to tell you. But first of all, a Cybertruck was sitting charging and just doing nothing, just charging at a Tesla supercharger. And then a Dodge Charger drove straight into it. It looks like it actually looks like the V8 Hemi version. I mean, obviously, that's the main version people buy in the United States. But anyway, Dodge Charger drives straight into it and crashes straight into the Cybertruck. And you can see smoke pouring out of, not the Cybertruck, pouring out of the Charger. Guys, normally I find charging an electric car is, whether you're in a Tesla or my Xpeng, it's kind of a good experience. You can just relax and watch a movie and you don't feel guilty about it. I often feel guilty when I'm not working or not doing something productive, whether that's going to the gym or surfing or, spending time doing things that I think are productive. But if I'm sitting in the car charging, I'm just like, yeah, this is good. I'm just going to chill out. And it's an excuse to chill out. But this guy in the Cybertruck, well, he didn't get to chill out for very long. This happened in Destiny USA Mall in Syracuse, New York. And there, a model owner says the people in the Dodge nearly hit him as well. I was out for a walk when I nearly got hit by these idiots. A moment later, I heard their engine rev and I knew they were going to do something stupid, so I started recording, he said. What's the chances of this guy knowing this is going to happen? Because these guys are just, you can see these people are just idiots. So he was correct. Despite having a huge parking lot at their disposal, the driver of this Charger RT begins a donut close to nearby Teslas, charging at a supercharger station. This guy sounds like an absolute idiot. He gets quite a slide going, complete with some opposite lock, and anyway, thinks he's a hero driver, straightens out, and then he crashes. Well, first of all, he drives over an island near the parking lot entrance, and then, no idea why, but after clearing the island, he engages his brakes. Video shows that despite the brakes being on, the car obviously couldn't stop in time, and it actually went over the island. When he hits that, the front end flies up off the ground and the car comes back to earth, keeps rolling until he hits the Cybertruck. As you can see, guys, this is a massive parking lot. It's huge. I mean, really, you could have like 10 cars do burnouts in this car park and not hit anyone. It's so big. Absolute moron. Anyway, the Dodge is clearly not okay. Smoke is billowing from the front rather than from the rear tires. And part of the undercarriage protection is on the ground. There's debris all over the parking lot. And you know what? The Cybertruck looks amazing. It looks like it's barely been touched, which is incredible. According to the Reddit post, the crash left motor oil and transmission fluid leaking out onto the ground. The Cybertruck owner got out to check the damage and he found none. The truck looked completely fine. The Cybertruck is undamaged. I can't understand how that's possible. You can see that the Dodge is certainly damaged. So what does this story remind me of? It reminded me of, I've never been someone that's been into doing burnouts. Probably haven't had the skill to do that. But I did do something kind of similarly stupid. I was in someone else's car. I'm not going to say whose car it was. It was a Holden Commodore, which, to be honest, it's basically a General Motors sedan. Just sort of uses General Motors parts when we used to have this brand here in Australia called Holden. Holden Commodore, rear-wheel drive, right? And they really, back then, this is about it's about 19 years ago, actually. I was driving and it was for a very important event. I was driving to this very important event. I went around a roundabout and this roundabout has a weird camber to it. It kind of goes like this. And it was raining. It was pouring with rain. Anyway, I was driving around this roundabout. I didn't even think I was driving very quickly. And I've spun out and had this pretty decent crash on the roundabout. And yeah, this when I was dating someone and I was about to meet the parents, right? So I've come off the roundabout and I've seen the front of the car was damaged. It was her car. It was her car. And I had to drive to this event. People who know me are going to know this story. Drive to this event with this damage. The front looked pretty bad. And then see the parents there and they looked at the car and they're like, oh, right, you seem like a real quality guy. Well done. Well done. So anyway, I've had a couple of events like this, fortunately, a very long time ago back in my much, much younger days. But this event kind of reminded me of that. I wasn't, being an idiot like this guy, but, rear-wheel drive cars that have maybe a little bit too much power for their traction, especially in the wet, they can be pretty sketchy. And it's interesting because having test driven a lot of Chinese electric cars, and not just Chinese, but electric cars, Teslas as well, rear-wheel drive electric cars, even ones with a lot of power, they have really good traction control. So even when you do lose traction in the wet, and sometimes I'll do it intentionally just for a bit of fun, the traction control is so good that it just basically you feel like you're a hero driver, even though I'm not a great driver. I'm okay from, playing thousands of hours of Gran Turismo. It's the only video game I ever played growing up. And that does give you a little bit of a sense of how a car works when you're that obsessed with a car game. I'm okay, but I'm really not a great driver. But these electric cars now, they have way more power. Power to weight is much higher than what some of these internal combustion rear-wheel drive cars are. But the handling is it's very low to the ground. Even in wet weather, feels much, much safer. It's one big advantage of new electric cars. Guys, let me know your thoughts. Don't be too harsh in the comments. Thanks for watching. Hey guys, this is a kind of a crazy, crazy video. And you might be thinking, well, this is anti-Tesla, but it sort of isn't really. And I think actually you'd be quite surprised at what happened. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. So anti-Tesla protesters, and obviously some of them are anti-Elon Musk, have been, setting Teslas on fire. There was another 10 Teslas in Germany that about a week ago were set on fire. All this stuff. And I, as you guys know, I'm firmly against all of that. And when I say firmly against it, I mean completely against it. Now, a recent video from Political Action Group led by donkeys, which might actually explain